Hey guys, so today I'm going to take you guys along with me. We're working on splitting down this 24-inch wood that I've got set up over here. I set all this up yesterday, but the detent on this built right, I think this is a Model 11. It's an old splitter that we've had a long time, and it's got its issues. I mean, it's got some hydraulic leaks here and there. I think that the hydraulic pump just now started seeping a little bit of oil there, so that's something we may have to address before too much longer. But another thing that's happening right now is the detent, and it may be, I mean, if any of you guys have any more experience with these hydraulics and everything than I do, it may be because it's not getting quite the pressure out of the pump that it used to. It's affected the detent on our splitter cycle here, so most of the time it will trip itself back off before it makes the full cycle, which is pretty annoying. You know, you get these auto cycle machines, especially this one right here. It's just set up perfect where you can, you know, get that auto cycle going and then just go get you another piece and it'll make the full extension and retract all on its own. And it's kind of a little bit frustrating when you know you've been used to that for so long and then having to hold it, because this thing doesn't have a super fast cycle time. I think it's around 8 or 9 seconds. You know, but being that you can be grabbing another piece of wood at the same time, you know, it's all you can do just to get back to it that fast. So it works out well if it's operating correctly. So I am not an expert at this, but I'm thinking these right here are the detents. I mean, I pretty much know that they are, and these are just some little plastic caps that come off, and I'm not, in all honesty, sure of which one I need to adjust, or if I need to tighten it or loosen it, but I'm just going to play around with them. I know these are just kind of jam nuts that are on here. I'll need to just loosen these, break these free, and then either tighten or loosen this in order to get it working better. And I'm hoping that that will fix my problem. I'm going to kind of show you guys what it's acting like right now. I assume it's still acting the same. I had a guy operating it here just a little bit ago this morning, and now he's off grabbing some materials for a job site. But he should be back here later today, so I want to get this thing running right for him and make sure that it's it definitely helps speed things up, if nothing else. You know, and that's what it's about when you're making firewood. You got to be doing it as efficiently as you can in order to turn a profit. So we'll get this going. I'm gonna see if we can get you guys set up so y'all can see what I'm doing here, and we'll see if we can get it fixed. And if you guys have any pointers or any knowledge, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd love to know a little bit more about it. I can't remember what valves these are. Well, it is a Prince valve. So if you guys have anything similar to this and y'all are wondering how to do it, feel free to follow along and we'll see if we can figure it out together and get this thing working right. I'll first go ahead and just test it, make sure it's still kind of acting up. I know it surely is. Sometimes these things can act funny just based on the fluid, you know, thickness and stuff like that, but that's typically in the winter time when the, you know, it's colder temperatures. It obviously thickens that fluid up, and then it takes a little bit to warm it up and get the detent working properly. But I don't think that's the case right now, being that it's you know, in the 90s. Well guys, that is working a lot better than it was the other day when I was running it. I had finished resplitting the trailer the other day just so we could get the count on the crates on that previous video where we added everything up, you know, when I was doing running all the numbers on that one tractor trailer load. So it's running a whole lot better. It's detenting about how it's supposed to. I mean, it tripped back once or twice when it had a little bit of strain on it, but not like it was. So I think I'm gonna just leave it alone and not adjust those detents. But you can see this oil that's coming out of this thing. This is not motor oil, this is hydraulic oil. I believe it's coming out of the pump right there, and that has just recently started. You can see it kind of dripping on the concrete. Of course, it looks a whole lot worse on concrete than it really is. It's not like we're losing that much oil. We can certainly just run it and keep adding oil to it, which is typically what we'll do for a while until it gets, you know, until something gets to the point where we just have to absolutely replace it, like that pump right there. That's not a cheap part. I don't, you know, no one around here really seems to want to put any time in rebuilding them. They just tell you it's better off replacing them. And if you guys have any insight on that, feel free to chime in, because I'm not sure if that's actually true or if that's just them wanting to sell you something, you know, and not wanting to actually do any work on it. So I've never tried to tear one of these pumps apart myself and see what kind of seals and gaskets and things like that are inside them, but it's something we could dive into if we wanted to. I mean, you know, if you had spare time to do it. That's the problem. But the engines are great, you know. I mean, it's, you know, these Hondas, they seem to go forever, you know, and that's nice. We have had this cylinder in the past. We've had to have this cylinder rebuilt, and whoever did it had a whole lot of trouble getting it apart, and ended up having to cut the back end of it out and re-weld it back together, and looks like it's seeping out the front right now as well. But it got to the point where it was dripping out right here at the front of the cylinder so bad that we had to have it rebuilt. And it looks like this is loosening off just like it does on all my cylinders right there. I need to get the big pipe wrench in there and get that tightened back up, but always something to be repaired. And we've always had a leak right here. This right here just never wants to get quite tight in there. I think I'd have to take everything apart, take this off, and put some new thread tape on that, tighten all that back up. But you can see all this oil. That's what the majority of this oil puddle is under here. That's what it's from. But maybe one day I'll do that. It ain't gonna be today, because I've got that, you know, the guy's gonna be back here before too much longer, and he'll start working on this trailer. But I'm actually pretty happy with how it's working. And this is all that 24-inch wood that we made. And I mean, they're not all, you know, exactly 24 inches, but they're pretty close. You know, they're really big, let's put it that way. I mean, look how big that piece of firewood is right there. And yeah, it's a giant piece of wood, and we have quite a few customers that do like that stuff, and we've got a good bit of it that's seasoned. We do not kiln dry this. We just strictly offer it seasoned. And you know, these logs, they're pretty dang dry as it is, being that they've been cut for so long and they're such small diameter. So it's going to make some good firewood that'll be ready. You know, we're not going to be selling this right at the beginning of our you know, delivery season, because we've still got, I think I've got 20 baskets of it over there filled. So we'll go through all that before we ever start running through this. And that stuff, it's slow to sell. We don't sell near as much of that as we do, you know, our more common stuff. So it'll be late season before we even get into selling any of this, and it'll be good and dry by then. So, but yeah, I think that's gonna wrap this one up. I was hoping to bring y'all along on that detent repair, but I'm sure one of these days I'll have another one to do. I do that, I don't want to say frequently, but I have had to do that, you know, throughout the years. And whether it be this one or Eastimate Ultra, whatever it is, we had to adjust detents here and there. And I know that's some information that's beneficial, and I've always looked for some videos whenever I've dove into that and tried to make those adjustments. It's sometimes helpful. But appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.